Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what's not okay to do with a guy friend when you have a boyfriend? Anything you wouldn't do or say with them if your boyfriend was standing next to you. Funny how often the best answer is also the simplest. If you have to hide it from your boyfriend, it means it's not okay. Oh, so surprise parties aren't okay now? Exclamation mark. No, they're not okay. I thought I was coming home to eat a cookie and play some Baldur's Gate 3, but now I have to socialize. You confounded face. Terrible surprise. Talk to me next time so I can mentally prepare myself for the event. I have a 4-year-old. We've had lots of conversations about secrets versus surprises. Secrets are bad, surprises should be good. You should never keep secrets from mommy and daddy, but it's okay to keep mommy's birthday present a surprise. Going to a hookah lounge at 2 a.m. with the guy friend right after saying you were too tired to go to your boyfriend's house. Oddly specific, yet apparently relatable enough that it's the third highest comment at the time of writing. The easiest starting point is to ask yourself, what would I feel if my partner did this with their friend, and rule all of that out immediately. A simple concept many struggle with. The number of times I've seen people ask that and they say something like, oh, I totally don't mind if my GF tongue kisses someone else while rubbing their genitals, it's just flirting after all. Quote. Sex, does that include Monopoly, or is it just the, go directly to jail, kind? Damn, what kind of Monopoly are you guys playing? Exclamation mark. Make them think you guys would ever date if you eventually break up with your current BF. This is a huge one that I see too often. Oftentimes, it isn't even intentional, but that's irrelevant. Deep down she knows that guy friend would date her given the opportunity, but she doesn't straight up shut down the possibility of them dating because either she's afraid of losing the friendship, or she secretly likes the attention. I have a friend that spent college and a few years after in the orbit of a girl that was obviously keeping him and a few other guy friends close like that. He wouldn't date much during that time because she might break up with her BF and he was next in line. It stunted him in the relationship department for years. This is a conversation to have with your boyfriend to know what your boyfriend is comfortable with. Different people consider different things as cheating. What if my BF doesn't like me being friendly to other guys and having guy friends, but I'm naturally friendly to everyone regardless of gender and my interests are male-dominated? Conversation. Talk to him about it. See what each of you can compromise on and see whether those compromises are sustainable or not. Then it's your responsibility to yourself to decide if you're okay with those boundaries he's setting. If not, a compromise is needed or you break up. Depends on what friendly means to you. I once had a female friend who was super friendly and very physically affectionate. She'd greet me with a kiss. She'd cuddle up with me on the couch. She liked to hold hands. I was fine with this and knew she was being friendly and there wasn't romantic ties to her actions. However, once she got a significant other and my friend's actions continued, they were understandably upset. So while the other comment of, don't do what you wouldn't do if your BF was standing next to you, is generally good advice, it doesn't cover it if you think your actions are fine, like the girl in my story thought. It's best to have a conversation if you sense him getting upset and see if your boundaries align with his. That doesn't mean bend to his will to make him happy, but at least you'll know if his boundaries are acceptable to you, and you'll avoid arguments from playing it by ear and waiting for a fight. Reach your hand across 2 seats to touch your guy friend's crotch while your boyfriend is sitting next to you. Speaking from experience here. Not okay, whatsoever. Edit, I didn't tell my friend, her boyfriend, what happened because he sat next to her and I think he knows and saw what happened. I know it's not the case, but I'm picturing her reaching across your seat to get at the other guy and it's a very funny image. Babe, can you lean back for just a second? Not telling your guy friend you have a boyfriend. This happened to me a couple months ago. I was the guy friend and she was flirting with me. Found out later because her boyfriend was a classmate of mine that I was close to, and when I brought it up to him he was shocked. Ended pretty quickly after that. Did he dump her? Then she was single, right? Spending much more time with him rather than with your partner. This is a solid one. Should had noticed that red flag when my, now ex-wife started spending so much time with her coworker. This same exact thing happened to me and I was trying so hard not to be the jealous controlling type that I subconsciously ignored the red flags. Bear more than 3 of his children. Takes notes, 2 are fine. 5 is right out. That thing that some women do when they cling to one of your arms and hold their head against it, some physical contact is fine, but that feels like a little too much. Best friend's GF does this with me, IDK how to react if not, embrace it because she's so sweet and caring, but I can see my best friend looking at us slightly weirded out. She also always tells me that she isn't physically affectionate with him. Shut that shit down. She's going to destroy your friendship with him. If nothing else, tell your friend it makes you uncomfortable. He could be imagining a plethora of things about what you're thinking. Giving him that peace of mind from your end will make it a lot easier for both of you to deal with her, whatever that looks like. If you want to keep that best friend and be a bro before hoe kind of guy, shrug her off until you train her to keep her distance, and if anything feels flirty and makes your wiener tingle, shut it down, ignore her. This might make her try more. Better to piss her off than lose a friend. Use them as a boyfriend replacement when your boyfriend is not available. I'm not really talking about physical stuff, I mean using another guy to fill in whatever void you would normally do with your boyfriend if he happens to not be available. I get platonic friends and workplace partners are a thing, but trying to fill an emotional void with someone else because your boyfriend isn't available is what sends mixed signals more than anything, even if that's not the conscious intent. Edit. Want to emphasize it's okay to do things if your partner isn't available with other people, or even just another person. It's more a self-examination of when you are interacting with another person singularly and why. As much as I hate nice guys and friend zone talk, some women absolutely do this whether they realize it or not. My girlfriend is doing this with her gay friend. They recently moved in together, and she uses him as an attention replacement for me, so we haven't spent any time together. I'm thinking of talking to her about it, but I might just end it. IDK what to do TBH. Anything you would think is not okay for your boyfriend to do with one of his friend. With one of his female friends. I wouldn't want my partner treating male friends the way I treat my male friends. Yeah, but crossing swords in the shower is just for fun. Besides, it's not like she could do it. Putting him above the boyfriend by using the, I know him for longer than I know you, same thing if we reverse genders. That depends. If this is an ultimatum type conversation, that's a red flag. Usually when people say that it's because it's some sort of ultimatum. I mean, I've known my friends far, far longer than any future romantic partner. Most of my friends are female. If I'm given an ultimatum, them or her, it's gonna be them every time. They have tenure. I mean, I get that for you now. I felt the same. Friendships crumble like the pictures in your wallet. People move on, things change. Now my wife and kids are my family and closer than any friend ever has been. It's not okay to hide things or be secretive about your interactions with a guy friend when you have a boyfriend. Transparency and honesty are key to maintaining trust in your relationship. Flirt with them, prioritize them over your BF, spend time with them more often. My rule of thumb for socializing with the opposite sex while in a relationship is that if you're not comfortable telling your partner about what happened, it shouldn't happen. Avoid any behavior that can be perceived as flirtatious. Anything you wouldn't do with a same-sex friend. Anything you wouldn't want your partner to see. TBH, a friendship between men and women is hard because very often the guy secretly, or not so secretly, wants to fuck his girlfriend. Men know their own kind and that's why they have trouble with their GFS having best friends. Had tons of friends who were women that I never thought I'd like to fuck. Maybe you're all just degenerates. Maybe you're just gay bro. Your concern is that maybe your girlfriend's friends might secretly be attracted to them. But, who cares? If you trust your girlfriend, then you have no cause to be worried anything will happen. A good girlfriend won't be flirting with men behind your back. If you don't trust your girlfriend, why are you dating? Your opinion is such a common one, but it's also awful. How do you people function with this level of distrust and jealousy? Is this why most relationships I see look rocky at best? God, I feel so bad for folks in relationships with these people. And it's super common from what I can tell. Poor bi folks just never get to have friends lol. I personally have no issue with any gender friendships, but this is not a good argument. You trusting someone doesn't mean nothing will happen. Plenty of seemingly trustworthy people either make a mistake or aren't as trustworthy as you may think. Something like 20% of people, according to a 2017 study, admitted to cheating, study done in the US. The US has also been surveyed to be the least accepting of cheating out of developed countries, so it's likely that number is much higher and people aren't willing to admit it. 50 to 60% of divorces occur due to infidelity, and that's not counting people that were good at hiding it and got divorced. Cheating is super common, and if a relationship is gonna survive a long time, it's likely there will be some sort of emotional or physical infidelity on one side, known or unknown. Yeah, it is a tricky one. Like, it is super easy to be friends with each other, but that doesn't mean they don't wanna fuck. Like, if I'm not in a relationship and I'm hanging with a girlfriend and she wants to mess around, I'd probably be okay with it if that is all it was. IDK, I have had plenty of attractive female friends. I have had no actual interest in anything else beyond that. If you're getting enough action in the field, you won't be looking into your friend group to get laid TBH. Worth noting, most of them get into a serious relationship and their new guys have some insecure timidness about us hanging out without group. Confiding in him about problems in your relationship with current BF. When you do this, the male friend is basically your emotional support boyfriend. Also, the male friend, if they're morally corrupt, may see this as an opportunity to slide in between you and so to get his pound of flesh at the cost of your relationship. TBH, I'm always sketched out about opposite sex friendships where one is in a relationship and the other is straight and very single. People act like it's completely normal and fine, and sometimes it is, but anecdotally I've seen enough SOs get outplayed by the conveniently single and emotionally supportive friend. I think it's a little over the top to say that people are only allowed to confide in friends of the same sex simply because you've seen people who didn't handle it gracefully. I'd have a much narrower perspective of relationships if I could only ever talk through my problems with other guys, and I can't imagine it'd be much different for women. I was the supportive guy best friend when my friend was in a bad relationship. Believe me, I was super careful with my wording specifically because I didn't want to come off as trying to slide in between him even though he was a shit dude. Yeah, this one is a definite. Same here, but can be exhausting especially when the other guy is a dick. I kinda slip the odd time and be critical of some faults, but damn, keep it in check is definitely the case. Deleted.